What is going on, everyone? We are back with another review, and in this one, we were reviewing the Twilight Zone Season 1, Episode 16, The Hitch-Hiker. Please remember, if you check the link in the description below, you'll be able to go to the Patreon, sign up for the Patreon, and you'll get everything a full week early. Maybe. Until I inevitably lose track. It will happen. But we're going to drag this out as far as we can. Anyways, super excited for this. So, I'm just going to come out and say I actually really liked this episode. It's actually a really good one. This was directed by Alvin Ganzer. This was based on the radio play by Lucille Fletcher. The teleplay was written by Rod Serling. And this episode released January 22nd, 1960. So starting off, we get this lady who is driving. You find out has been driving, and her tire blew when she was going like 60 miles per hour, and this mechanic is helping her fix her car. He cracks a couple jokes about, she's on the side of the angels. She somehow, there have been people that probably have passed away from driving this fast. Blah, 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 blah. Right? So he gets her spare tire put on. She drives with him back to his shop. He fixes up her car. She pays him. She drives off. Now, during all of this, she starts to see this hitchhiker, and it's the same guy that's constantly trying to go wherever she's going. She starts to panic because she's going from New York. She's on her way to L.A. But she starts to panic and keeps driving. Eventually, after she keeps seeing this dude pop up, she makes it to just before a gas station. Her car runs out of gas. She walks a half mile to the gas station, wakes up the attendant. He's like, go away, come back in the morning. The sailor shows up, and he's like, hey, where are you headed? And she's like, I'm going to... Oh, sorry, guys. She's like, I'm going to LA. And he's like, well, I'm going to San Diego. She's like, if you'd like ride with me, I'll take you, because she's super paranoid about this hitchhiker that's been following her. So he agrees. He wakes up to the attendant. They get gas. They put the gas in the car. She starts driving. As she drives, the guy and her are talking, and he's really weird. I thought for sure he was going to end up trying to kill her, or ended up killing her, which is not what happened. She ends up seeing the vision of the hitchhiker, panics, almost wrecks the car the first time. The guy's like, yo, are you alright? And she's like, I'm sorry. She sees him again. This time she tries to run him over. The guy forces her to stop the car, ditches her, because she's like, will you please stay with me? And he's like, nah. And she's like, please. And he's like, thank you. But no thank you. No, it's not happening. And then he's like, lady, you need sleep. Get you some sleep somewhere. But I gotta make sure I get to the ship in one piece, and I cannot guarantee my safety with you. I'm out. He leaves. She continues to drive. She eventually pulls up to this phone booth, calls back home, asks for Miss Adams, and the lady over the phone is like, I'm sorry, but Miss Adams is still in the hospital from collapsing in shock. The lady's like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, it all just happened so very sudden after the death of her daughter. And she's like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, her daughter just passed away 6 days ago. She was driving and her tire blew and the car flipped over, which is when you find out that she's dead. Which I have suspected this, and now I did not predict this ending. I did not predict that she was dead. I predicted that the hitchhiker was death, which I still think is right. However, I didn't know she was already dead. Because there was even a segment early on where she's like going to drive over these railroad tracks as a train was coming, but it was like long way down the tracks, and as she's driving over, like she's going at a perfectly good speed, and then it just stops on the railroad tracks, which I thought was extremely crappy. And then she's able to put it in reverse just before the train hits her. So I thought she was going to die. I just didn't think that she was already dead. Again, I really did enjoy this episode. It kept me guessing. I kept thinking that other things were going to get her throughout the episode. But obviously, early on in the episode, it's a 25-minute episode. It obviously can't be certain things. But I ended up really liking it, guys. In fact, it makes me even more excited moving forward. So this was episode 16. We've got... What's 36 minus 16? 26. We got 20 more episodes. 20 more, and then we'll be done with season 1. Let's go. Of the Twilight Zone. Tomorrow you guys will be getting either the first part of the last story from Armchair Thriller or the whole episode. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the full 6 episodes in. I will at least be able to get 3. We're going to see how I feel. So, that is something to keep an eye out for. If we do finish it, we'll be doing all of the things. Because, we got to finish it, and then we got to do a review, and then we got to rank them, and then we got to pick what we're doing next. All of which are a lot of fun. But, I am thinking about, and this is what I will probably do, is moving forward, when I do the review for the last episode and something in a season, I am also going to, during that same video, go ahead and do the rankings and picking the next thing so that it's just not multiple videos that are unnecessary. I don't know, though. I kind of like doing the rankings separately because it gives people a chance to come in and see what I would rank them instead of... We might keep them the way that we're doing. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But no, again, thoroughly liked this episode, and yeah. The next one for the Twilight Zone is called The Fever. So we'll be on the lookout for that. And yeah, with that being said, I love you guys. See you next time. Peace.